My name is Guillermo, and today it is such a great day since almost all of us are facing um, into another type of discussions. So for today we'll discuss about our topic yesterday, or we'll just have a sort of review yesterday. So yesterday we have discussed all about the cell. So what do you know about the cells? Anyone? Okay. So when we say cell, it is the basic unit of life, right? It is the basic unit of life because it consists, or it is the single unit in which it functions as one, or it forms our organization. So the organization of our life begins with the cell, followed by the, of course, we have the tissues. A group of tissues will consist of a organ. And a group of organ, we will create a organ system. Creating a group of organ system, we can create a organism. And a group of organism, we can create a population. A population will be consist of different communities. And the community will create a ecosystem. An ecosystem will create a biosphere. So when we say biosphere, it consists all of the living organisms in our planet. So now the question today is that how our cells form, or how this body consists of different or billions of cells. So today we'll talk about one single process that talks about cells, and at the same time, how do cells multiply, or how do they divide, and at the same time we'll discuss other steps and essentiality of this process. So for today we'll discuss about, or before we begin, let's have a review, or let's have a activity. So on the PowerPoint, I have presented some questions, and you are going to identify what type of process or step is that. Gets. Okay. So now activity number 1 we have, or the question number 1 is, I am the basic unit of life. I carry all the functions of all living organisms. What am I? The answer is, of course, it is the cell. Because cell is the basic unit of life. Very good. The second one, I am responsible for the activities inside the cell. I almost carry all the burden, and I hate that they call me the brain of the cell. What am I? Yes. Okay, can we stand up so I can hear your answer? Okay, the answer is nucleus. Very good. 2 points for Dennis. Everyone listen carefully because the next question will be asked randomly. Okay? Third question is, I am responsible for the chromosomes to move on the opposite poles of the mitosis. Are you familiar with the mitosis? I usually separate them for another type of cell. And I am the younger sister of metaphysics. What am I, or who am I? Yes, Baynoran. The correct answer is anaphase. So, anaphase is another process. We'll talk about that later. And the fourth question is, my primary goal is to remove the nuclear membrane inside me so that my friends, the chromosomes, can be free. I am the eldest of the 5 daughters of mitosis. Who am I? Yes, Brian. Okay, the correct answer is prophase. Very good, Brian. So for today, what do you think would be our lesson? Yes. Okay, so we'll talk about the process of cell division known as the mitotic cell division. But before we begin, let me remind you that this will be a lecture class. So I'll be talking about the different process, and at the end of the lesson, we are going to have your own group activities and you're going to present your output in front of the class. So before we begin, please arrange your chairs properly. Make sure that there are no gadgets, no cell phones, no mobile phones in your armchair. Just a piece of note and a ball pen so you can take down notes. And at the same time, I don't want anybody talking about this one. Okay? So let's talk about mitotic cell division. When I say mitotic cell division, this is cell division, of course. But let's identify our learning targets for today. Our first learning target is you or I can explain the occurrences of each of the stages of mitotic cell division. The second one, I can value the significance of mitosis in repairing damaged cells and for growth. And the third one, I can create a diagram showing the different stages of mitosis. So at the end of the lesson, you should absorb all of these learning targets. Okay? Now let's talk about mitosis. So in here, you can see the diagram or the steps or the process of mitosis. But before we begin, are you familiar with this process? Okay, so when we say mitosis, it is a cell division that involves the division of our somatic cells. Are you familiar with the somatic cells? Yes, Mark. Okay, so when we say somatic cells, these are our body cells. So in the cell division, we actually have two processes. We have the mitosis, and at the same time, we also have the meiosis. So when we say mitosis, it is a cell division that involves the division of our somatic cells or our body cells. And on the other hand, we have the meiosis, in which it is a cell division that occurs on our sex cells. Do we have sex cells? What are the two sex cells? Yes. Very good. We have the egg cell, another one. And we also have the sperm cell. Very good. So we'll talk about mitosis first. When I say mitosis, we have different processes. I know that you are already familiar with this, but let me just review this one. When we say interphase, it is the first process in which we have the growth 1 phase, the synthesis phase, and the growth 2 phase. So the very first major step of mitosis is the prophase. So when we say prophase, it is the process in which the chromosomes appear condensed and the nuclear envelope is not apparent. Are you familiar with the chromosomes? How many chromosomes do we have? Yes. We have 23 pairs of chromosomes. How many all in all in one single cell? We have 46 chromosomes. Right? Part of the 23 pairs, we have 22 pairs of autosomes. Those autosomes are our body chromosomes. And we have 1 pair of sex cells. May it be XX or XY. When we say XX, it contains a female chromosome, or the gender of that cell is female, while the XY is for female. So we'll talk about that further when we discuss about meiosis. So in the process of prophase, in our cell, we have the nuclear envelope, right? So the nuclear envelope, it is the membrane which that carries the chromosomes. So what happens when the nuclear envelope becomes condensed or it becomes unapparent? That means that the chromosomes will move outside of the cell because there is no guard, there is no protection between them. So what happens is that this one, the chromosomes are free outside of the cell, or inside the cell but outside of the nuclear envelope. The second process is process is the metaphase, in which thick-coiled chromosomes are lined up in the center of the cell. On the metaphase plate, spindle fibers are attached to the chromosomes. So in this case, you can see that all of the chromosomes are at the center of the cell. Why? Because of the presence of our spindle fibers and the centromeres. Sorry. Because of the presence of the spindle fibers and the centromeres that are found at the center of the cell. So these are the chromosomes. Now what happens on the next process? The next process will be the anaphase. So in the process of anaphase, the chromosomes have separated and are moving towards the poles. That means that we have two pairs of chromosomes. In a pair of chromosomes, the other chromosome is being pulled back by our spindle fibers on the other side, while the other pair is pulled back or held back by another spindle fibers on the other side. That's what happens wherein on the process of metaphase, we have the process called the changing of the or interchanging of the chromosomal content or the genes. That is why most of the characteristics of a human person is actually or the phenotype of the person is expressed unaccordingly, but in the process of the genetic interchanging of the chromosomes. The third process is the telophase. So what happens in the telophase or the fourth process? In the telophase, the chromosomes are at the poles and are becoming more diffused. When we say diffused, there is a single or there is a slight separation between the pair of chromosomes right there and the pair of chromosomes right here. So the nuclear envelope is reforming. The cytoplasm may be dividing. So as you can see on the diagram, the centromeres are becoming diffused. That means they dissolve. And at the same time, you can see that some of the nuclear envelope are forming at the center of the cell. And there is actually a smooth separation of the cytoplasm, making like a peanut shape of the cell. So that's what happens on the telophase. Now, on the fourth process is the telophase. We have the final process of the mitosis, which is the cytokinesis. So when we say cytokinesis, it is the division of the cytoplasm of parent cell into two daughter cells. So at the end of the process of mitosis, coming from one cell, we divided it into two by the process of cytokinesis. So as you can see on the diagram, the total separation of the cytoplasm, this is the cytoplasm, and it will be divided into two by the process of cytokinesis, in which there is now a formed nuclear envelope and a cytoplasm for both of the cells. So we have divided from one cell going into two daughter cells. Now, the question is, what is the importance of mitosis in the human body? Anyone? Yes. Okay. Okay, so when we say the importance of mitosis, it is essential because the main function of mitosis is for our growth and for the repair of our tissues. Now, example, if you got wounded, so what do you observe after a few weeks or a few days? The wound is healing. That is because of the presence of our somatic cells in our body. And at the same time, that is the main function of our somatic cells in order to repair or regenerate new cells for our body. That is why if you have encountered wounded or you have wounds in your body, it will heal in time because of the presence of our somatic cells. That is because of the process of mitosis in which our body cells are divided into different steps, forming one cell going into two daughter cells. Now, any more questions? Okay, one question from our student here. The question here is, what will happen to the body if there is no mitosis? Well, scientifically, mitosis always occurs every day, every minute, every second. So we don't know how they occur. But what if the mitosis doesn't occur? What will happen to the body? What will happen to our physical appearance? Basically, growth will stop. Second, wounds will not heal. And third, there is no regeneration. That is why our cells are being, if you are going to do summer, so we are facing summer right now, and you're going to the beach, now you wanted to expose yourself into the sunlight. The main part of our body that is being affected is our skin, specifically our skin cells, because they protect our skins from ultraviolet rays from the sun. Now, what may happen to the cells if there is too much ultraviolet rays? Our skin will die, or they will take suicide to protect us from the ultraviolet rays that causes cancer. That is why you should thin your cells for protecting you from sunlight, from wounds, or from anything. It's just that here in our hearts, there are sometimes that our hearts are wounded because of love. Our hearts are wounded because we are heartbroken. But it will take time to heal, and it will take time for you to. It's just a play of the mind somehow, because somehow love is just, it's love is life. Life is composed of love, right? Now, before I end my discussion, tomorrow we will have an activity tomorrow that will be all about the meiosis. But before that, we have an assignment that you have to make. So it will be a group task. So I'll be grouping you into 5 groups. Now count from 1, or this one will be the group 1. That one will be the group 2, group 3, group 4, and then the last 2 rows will be the group number 5. So, prepare. Choose your leader, your secretary, and write down the members naman. So, with your group, you will be given a set of manila papers and a pen. Create a diagram following the correct process of mitosis. The group will be given 10 minutes to do the activity. The group will be scored based on the following criteria: the correctness of idea, the presentation, and the group participation. You have to participate every members. So leaders, you are responsible for that. Now, let's have an evaluation. Fact or bluff? You have to identify whether the given statement is fact or the given statement is bluff. So I will call one person to answer the question. Question number 1. Yes, Judea, stand up. Mitosis is a cellular division that happens in our body cells. Fact or bluff? Okay, very good. That is a fact. Second question. Chromosomes align themselves at the center of the metaphase plate of the cell. Fact or bluff? Okay, that is fact. Third question. The 2 identical daughter cells are produced after mitosis. Janine. Okay, that is fact. Fourth question. Interphase is the growing stage of the cell. Fact or bluff? Piteri. Okay, it is fact. And the last question, cytokinesis is the separation of the cytoplasm. Fact or bluff? Incaros? Fact. Very good. So, I hope you have learned something from me today, because tomorrow we'll be discussing another lesson or interesting lesson. We'll talk about meiosis. So have a little reading about that, advanced reading about that one, because I'll be asking several questions before we begin our discussion tomorrow for prognosis. So thank you for listening, and I hope that all of your activities will be passed on time tomorrow. Goodbye, class.